Oh, it's the story of the woman who's at the well and Jesus meets her there. And yeah, it's a labor of love. Like we absolutely love it. We see ministry happening every single day. I'm sitting in my room right now and there's up on the wall, it's who you're praying for. And there's about 30 people's names up on the wall that our
Mm.
staff, are continually praying for. Yeah, actually I have a couple stories really. We have lots. Pretty much every day there's a story. We have our verse on really small, like on our cup. And he saw it. He's like, wait, are you guys like a ministry or something? And so Matt shared with them, and they, one thing led to another. After a couple weeks, he was coming in and just they were opening their Bibles together and just learning more and asking more.
Guest today is Julie, a director of marketing and human resources at the Well Coffee House, and here she is. So good to have you here
Hello.
today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So I just wanted to get started on so just what is the Well Coffee Shop, how it got started, and what you guys do.
Yeah, so we started our coffee house adventure about 13 years ago. We started with the idea from California. Two other families, actually three other families, and my husband and I kind of started working on the project of moving to the East Coast and opening a coffee house alongside a ministry church plant. And so the idea was to come and just create community spaces where we can meet people and get to know the community, and then also provide a church space in different areas on the East Coast. And so we settled on Boston. Had never been to Boston before. I didn't even know if I'd like it. It was cold, not California, but we love it. Absolutely love it. We've been here 12 years now. And we first came and opened our first location for the coffee house inside South Station, which was really busy, 250,000 people a day walking through there. So I thought that would be a great spot to just meet people and just learn about Boston as much as possible. And that offered us another opportunity inside a office space really close by, where we were like an amenity for the workers in that building. So we were serving like 1,000 people, actually close to 2,000 people a day in that space. It was crazy busy. Yeah, it was insane. So between those two locations, we were really busy. Just the four of us. There was basically two couples left after it all, got worked out. But we hired a few people. We brought our kids along and made them work. And we ended up opening our third location right on the Freedom Trail downtown next to the Old State House in Boston. And it was just a huge blessing. Shouldn't really be in that spot. It's way more than we can afford, but just through some networking and some connections we made, we were able to get in, and we're still here. It's actually where I am right now. And during COVID, our first two locations closed down. So the amenity plus South Station. So it was unfortunate, but also a blessing at the same time. We were able to focus on some different areas, and we have been at our State Street location downtown for 6 years now. We opened our first location in 2014, so we've been in existence for 10 years. But this location at State Street is the bread and butter. It's like super busy. We're right on the Freedom Trail. We have a college across the street, financial district across the street, government center across the street. We're next door to
Everybody
the
that
homeless
want to go to a coffee
center.
shop,
Right.
everyone that
We
wants to
have
go is like
everyone
right
here.
there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have high-end living next door and a homeless shelter across the street. So we have everyone from every walk of
Wow.
life, visitors on the Freedom Trail. So it's pretty amazing. We're really, really blessed to be here. And so we've been here, and then those two closed down. And then during COVID, we started working or finished our work on two other locations that we were able to open that have both been open a little over a year and a half now, one in Everett and one in East Boston. And so that's been keeping us busy.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you said you had like rental spaces, I believe, and then you serve coffee. Do you serve any food, or is it just
We do.
beverages?
We don't do any of our originals. We actually really love people and we really love coffee. So we thought we'll just go with that and get someone else to do the pastries. So we offer pastries from a local baker, a Danish pastry house, as well as a couple of other individual bakers. We have like French macaroons from a French guy that they're really amazing. And then some certified nut-free cookies from another baker that's local as well. So we really just focus on doing great at what we do great at. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So over the years, you've been able to get more and more volunteers and stuff, like with networking and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. We have a variety of volunteers. We've kind of started with our, church friends, and then that kind of grew. And sometimes we'll have customers come in and they learn that that's an option, and they end up volunteering. But one of our biggest volunteer bases comes from Gen Send, which is part of Send Network Church Planning. And
Mhm.
there's just a ton, about 100 college students that come into Boston every summer, and they're just here to serve. And I see the word serve right behind your head, so that's kind of cool.
Mhm.
But they just come and want to be a part of what we're doing. And so we have about 10 at each location that work alongside us and work all summer, which is amazing because we're super extra busy during the summer. So it's nice to
Yeah.
have extra hands, and they're volunteering their time. And they're also, a lot of them are from the South. So it's a lot of fun just to mix it up a little bit, and they bring a new energy.
Sure.
And then we have, just a variety of volunteers from really, you name it, everywhere. We have a lot of medical professionals like doctors, and even we have a couple of lawyers. We have, you name it, it's Boston. Everyone's here.
Mhm.
So it's lots of
Yeah.
fun.
Very cool. So, you've been doing this for a while and stuff. So I've been looking to research some other coffee shops and stuff. So, and one near me is actually just opening up. And so do you have any words of wisdom or advice to, kind of the church-centered
Mm.
coffee shops, looking to minister out to others? Do you have any advice for them?
It's hard work. Be ready. So yeah, it's a labor of love. Like we absolutely love it. We see ministry happening every single day. I'm sitting in my room right now, and there's up on the wall, it's who you're praying for. And there's about 30 people's names up on the wall that our
Mhm.
staff, are continually praying for. We get to see a lot and be a part of a lot of really cool ministry, but it is a lot of hard work. Coffee houses notoriously have this glamorous appeal. I think it's from like Gilmore Girls or something, but almost everyone I talk to is like, "Oh, I've always wanted to open a coffee house or have my own coffee shop." And it is a lot of fun, but it is, someone has to do the labor. So we
Sure.
spend all of our time here for the most part. Um, but it's also where we do ministry. So we're working and we're doing ministry at the same time. We call our employees barista missionaries. So
Hmm.
they're committed. They're all in it for the right purpose. They love their customers, and they want to be have the opportunity to share more with them than just coffee. So
Sure.
it's pretty amazing. I can't say enough about it. I would not be doing it if I didn't love it as much as I did, because it is definitely hard work.
Yeah.
We're always here longer than we think we're going to be. Everyone ends up getting home much later than planned, but it's great. Yeah.
I just love to see the passion that you have, just from how you talk about it. It's just like, this is something that you just love doing, even if it's hard, just keep going. And, sounds like everyone else too is very motivated. And, just looking at your social media and everything, everybody's just like, on point and, being and just passionate about, what they're doing. And so I really, really appreciate that. And everybody coming in, I'm sure is seeing that and feeding off of that. And that's
Pretty
wonderful.
cool, I have to say. Yeah, like I've actually had 4 meetings today, and every one of them was like they said something along those lines. Like, I love the energy here, or I love seeing that your baristas love being here. It's really rewarding. It really is,
Mhm.
not only from like a Christian standpoint, but just also from a work standpoint. Our baristas and our missionaries love being here because it's serving and working at the same time. You don't get that opportunity very often.
Yeah, yeah. So just real quick about the barista missionaries.
Mhm.
So do you do any training for that? Or are these people like, like people that love coffee and stuff? Like, do you have any training on either side, the missionary side, or, actually like, creating coffees for people?
Yeah, absolutely. Huge. It's a really big part of what we do, because we just want to make sure that each of our locations, and we're expanding hopefully across the country. We have our kind of pulse in a few different places right now, but we just want to make sure that the same passion that we have here is being shared at all the locations, and that we're also representing our branding the exact same way at every location. So all the drinks, like every barista is trained on a very specific set of directions on how to make drinks, how to do ministry at the counter. We have an entire employee training manual that we're
Hmm.
constantly updating. There are sections on ministry, there are sections on drink making, there are sections on community involvement and relationship building and all of that. So yeah, it's a lot, but they love it. And part of their pay is based on their training and what they're able to accomplish and some of their goals that they're setting, personal and ministry and work goals that they help set, and then that helps them achieve more goals. So yeah, it's been great.
Very cool. So on your website, you had referenced, I think it was John 4, the woman at the well.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about, like, how you I'm assuming the name, comes from that. So, like, how does that all fit together?
So it's the story of the woman who's at the well and Jesus meets her there. And by cultural standards, he really shouldn't be talking to her, both with different cultural backgrounds, but also that she's a woman. And he shares with her, he asks her for a drink of water, and she's like, why are you, and I'm obviously paraphrasing, why are you asking me? You shouldn't even be talking to me. And he basically shares, that he wants to give her a drink that will be more than that, basically. And so we kind of went along those lines and felt like it was a great way to kind of liaise into spiritual conversations. The well was traditionally a place where people would come to connect, to come and do more than just be refreshed, but basically we're going to share the option of having true life and true nourishment. Yeah.
I really like that imagery, again, having a hub. I mean, you're there for breakfast, lunch, and not necessarily dinner, but, for your meals and drinks. And so, bringing people together in close proximity, you have that interaction. And yeah, the imagery is very powerful. So
it's really cool. There's actually a lot of other well coffee houses around the country. We're all not related, though. I guess we had all of us have the similar ideas, but same concept.
Yeah, very cool. As far as like the struggles and successes, so I mean, you guys have, you're succeeding. It's been 10 years, 10 years plus, or 10 years. I think it's 10 years in March. I think
little plus. January was our 10-year anniversary. Yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And but again, you're succeeding. So, like, again, you've put in that hard work for a very long time. A lot of volunteers coming together. Again, God, blessing you through all your hard work. But have there been any like big struggles along the way through that time, and how'd you overcome them?
Absolutely, absolutely. There's struggles. I think the biggest struggle we've always had is finding, the right staff in the right spot. And they're all jiving together at the same time. We've kind of just recently come into a really sweet spot. We've had periods of time where it's been great, and then other times where people come on and they think it's one thing and it's not. It actually is hard work. For a lot of people that are ministry minded, I think there's this misconception that I'm just going to go and talk to people all day, but then they actually have to show up on time, and they actually have to work hard while they're here. And sometimes we have some struggles with that as well. But for the most part, we've been able to work through that. I'd say obviously financial struggles are always a thing. We're in Boston, which is one of the most expensive cities in the country. So, things are not cheap. Things take a long time. So every time we do like a new build out on a new location, it's always a whole lot longer than planned. So we kind of have to budget for that and kind of pivot when things, come up. But to be honest, we all just kind of we know it's the Lord's anyways, and we just kind of roll with it. I'd say that's probably our two biggest struggles for the most part. Obviously, a little bit of extra work sometimes is exhausting. So we just try to make sure we take at least one vacation in the summer and then we're good. Yeah.
Cool. And so do you have any like personal stories or like impact stories of like a patron coming in and just like, having the well being meaningful to them, or like in an interaction with one of the barista missionaries? Is there anything you'd like to share?
Actually I have a couple stories, really. We have lots. Pretty much every day there's a story. But I would say two really big impactful ones. One was during COVID. We had a young man that started coming in. We closed those other two shops. We just had this one open here, and my husband Matt was keeping it open basically. And there was a guy that was coming in every day. His name's David. And he was just a young guy, and he's just kind of searching, he wasn't a believer, and he just coming in every day and talking to Matt about life things. And eventually he saw we have our verse on really small, like on our cup. And he saw it. He's like, wait, are you guys like a ministry or something? And so Matt shared with them, and they, one thing led to another. After a couple weeks, he was coming in and just they were opening their Bibles together and just learning more and asking more. And long story short, my husband Matt was able to baptize him a couple years ago, and just about a year after COVID, actually. And he's been just growing and learning and absolutely loves our ministry. We actually just hired him on as our executive vice president. So doing he's doing amazing things for our company. He comes from a financial background, and he was basically an example of why we're here. And now he's able to give back to us and back to the ministry itself, and we absolutely love it. So that's a really cool story. And then we had a lady that lived next door. She still does, and she was popping in every day too, and just not having the best time of life, and just started recognizing that we were loving and kind and giving. And I think there were a few circumstances that led her to ask more questions. And eventually there was a church invite, and she was like, I don't know what it is about you people, but I just want to be around you more. And she's been coming to our church now for a couple of years as well, and she volunteers. And just so those types of stories, there's quite a few of those, but those are two that are really near and dear to my heart. So those are like, okay, we're doing the right thing, keeps us moving, and pretty exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing those. Yeah, that's really just awesome to have, like actual, kind of fruit of your labor, in a sense. Like, this is like the mission, and you're hoping for these scenarios, and then they actually happen. I love that.
Yeah.
It's hard because like sometimes, you might be planting that seed, and I'm sure you probably run into that maybe more often than not, that, you plant that seed in someone, and then they go off somewhere else, and then, maybe they're at another coffee shop because they had to move to another state or something like that. And then, then they're realizing, kind of what that seed has done over the years and stuff. And, but seeing it here, right away, or, again, over with time. That's awesome. I'm sure awesome. Very motivating for you and your team.
It is. And that's kind of, like I was saying earlier, they're all setting goals, personal goals. And some of those goals are like, successful church invites, or I was able to share the gospel so many times a month, those types of things. And so hearing their stories, it continues to motivate us, back. And then when we get the opportunity to share with people such as you, it's like, oh yeah, it's a good reminder. We're not just here serving coffee. We're doing what, the Lord's having us do. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. So I noticed there's I think, I don't remember if it was the Malden House or I think you guys had written a check because you guys, I think a portion of your tips go to other organizations.
Yeah, so we're actually a 501c3, and we also each month highlight a different local nonprofit. So at our Everett location, we were highlighting the Malden Warming Center, and that spot you saw was just us presenting them with a check. We don't usually do that publicly, but more recently we decided, let's celebrate that a little bit bigger. And so 100% of our tips at the counter are now donations to those local charities. So it's pretty cool. We're excited to be able to do that. In the years past, we've been able to kind of spread those out a little bit, but now we're highlighting one big charity each month for all locations. And we can give them back a little bit more. We're providing a space for them to come and do events, and helping them actually promote those events, and maybe potentially bring in more, donors for their causes or whatever it is. And they're it's a variety of different nonprofits. So some are for children, some are for elderly, some are for homeless. It's across the board. They're always helping people in general. And we love getting to do that. And our customers love getting to give back when they buy a coffee, so it's just kind of a win-win. So it's pretty exciting.
Very cool. Very cool. I guess last couple of questions. So just for future, you were talking about potentially going to other states and opening other branches. And is there any other like future like expansion, or like either like new activities or services for people?
Yes, a few things actually. So we just started coffee subscriptions, and so that's a way of being able to support our expansion. And so you can, on our website, there's a link there, and that's kind of a big endeavor that we're doing. We do have just up the street from our downtown location, we have another location that we're going to start working on probably in the next couple weeks. So it's another downtown location. It's in the basement or the bottom floor of Tremont Temple Baptist Church, and there's a ministry hub upstairs, which is really cool. So we'll have the connections with the people there. Also across the street from Government Center and colleges and stuff. So that's another one downtown. We have connections with some people in Chicago that we've been working with, and Puerto Rico as well right now. So both of
Wow.
those are like in active stages of kind of working through the possibilities. And we have a few other locals that have been shown interest in kind of just talking through that right now. But I think there's lots of talk, like we just have to
Hmm.
get to the point where it's like, oh, you really want to do it? Okay, we're going to do it. We've
Right.
gotten, connections with people in Colombia and India and just different places that really like want to do it, but it's a
Wow.
big undertaking. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's really exciting. I'd love to hear, kind of how it all plays out and everything. And yeah. And then I guess, talking to the audience and everything, what are kind of some needs like people can help out with, get involved and support you?
Thanks for asking. Yeah, so coffee subscriptions is a great way to give back, but you can also get the really delicious coffee as well.
Mhm.
We have different packages there. We also have just a donor platform where you can donate on a monthly basis, whatever you'd like. So that's always great. That helps us fund our initiatives that we're doing either in the local coffee houses or planting the next coffee house. And I didn't really mention before, but our goal and our mission behind the whole moving forward and expanding is that we're actually going with church planters. So we want to be able to
Mm,
provide a coffee space for them to do ministry in like urban settings, which is always hard and difficult to plant a church and to have a space, meet people and all that kind of
sure.
stuff. So coffee goes well with that. But and then in addition to that, just volunteers. We can always use volunteers, but we're also looking for people to just join our barista missionary team that would be willing to come and spend a year or two serving and be a part of our staff. Since we are expanding, we're pretty much always looking for someone to come
Mhm.
and do that and walk through that with us, and it's a huge blessing. But yeah, that's basically it.
Very, very cool. All right. And just one clarification on the subscriptions. That is, coffee that you can then ship like coffee beans or
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
yeah, coffee
So like
beans.
you,
We have like
so like if I'm out of state or whatever, you can just send it to me and that's how that can work.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
it's easy. You could
All
do
right.
from one bag to as many bags as you want, or a 5 pound bag, or whatever, however much coffee you need. We can do
Mhm.
it.
And I think there was a specific brand of coffee that you guys are using.
So there's a
Um,
couple actually. We've partnered with Crimson Cup, which is a roaster out of Columbus, Ohio, and they have a really great coffee. Like their basic coffee that we use is Armando's blend, and it's outstanding. Everyone loves it, and so that's kind of our base. And then we've been able to roast, I think, 3 other beans that are also available at our coffee subscription, and those are roasted locally here in Worcester, Mass, and we've kind of worked together with them to get the flavor profiles that we love, and so those
mhm.
are all available. We have dark, medium, light roast, and then a decaf as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So a great way to get connected is the website, I believe, and then you guys are on Instagram. Like, so what's your social media that we can get
yeah,
connected?
we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn. We're on everything.
Mhm.
You can find us anywhere. We're just kind of ramping up a lot of our social media, especially in those latter ones that I mentioned. Facebook and Instagram are our two biggest, which is also where we promote a lot of our events and different things that are happening. Our website is actually under construction right now. We're going to be launching a new website here in the next couple weeks, hopefully. So look for
Okay.
that. It'll be really exciting. It'll be a little bit more interactive, where people can also rent the space or just connect with us on a deeper level.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in conclusion, thank you, Julie, for coming on and doing this interview. It was great to hear about the Wall Coffee House, and yeah, hope to have you on
Thanks for
sometime
asking.
again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.